All right, let's go ahead with week 6 prep here. Looks like I'm gonna actually just do the greens. If you have questions about the yellows, you can ask me in the comments, and I will be happy to discuss them with you further. I'm gonna start with Aaron Holiday with Houston, top pick today. He is averaging 15.8 minutes on the year, but his minutes have been over 20 the last 3 games. Houston's actually been playing a little bit better with him playing more minutes, so I think they're probably going to stick with him. He really hasn't produced a whole lot yet, but his L10's only a 6, so it doesn't take a whole lot, and you're getting over 20 minutes. You can beat a 6 pretty easily. He's $1.63. This is your value play for the weekend, in my opinion. Haywood Highsmith, we picked up in that $3 to $4 range. Now Hero's hurt, so Highsmith gets a big bump. Looks like his minutes will probably go to the high 20s from the mid to low 20s, and his production should go up as well. He had his best game of the season yesterday, scored 32. For this weekend, his L10 still at 10. I think that's definitely a guy you target heading into the weekend. Sam Hauser we've talked about before. He has a rotation role with Boston. He's a floor spacer. They need his shooting. He's going to be on the floor. He's giving you 17 on average, 17 and a half on average, and his L10 this week is still a 10. I would be targeting him at $6. Lonnie Walker has looked good this year, and now with Cam Thomas out, it looks like Walker probably gets even more minutes. Brooklyn's pretty banged up. He can easily get you 30, 35. His L10 is 18, so he's worth a look. Batum, since he came to Philadelphia, has been playing last 2 games, 22 minutes on average. He's kind of a wing three-point shooter, defensive guy. Getting you 17 and a half, L10 of 14, so not real upside here, but at $3.26, he might be worth a look if you need a lineup filler. Drew Smith, another Miami guy, another guard, so another possible bump for Hero's injury. In the 4 games he's played, he's 17, 15 points. Nothing real exciting. L10 of 11, and he's about $4, so another guy that might be worth picking up. Burks is still hurt, coming off injury, but Detroit is really banged up, and there are a lot of shots to go around with Joe Harris out, with Bohan out. If he comes back, that $3.30 for 30-point production is hard to beat. Santi Aldama is back for Memphis. This is good news for them. They need him badly. Another big guy that can actually play and shoot. In the 2 games he's played, 23 minutes. I think that probably goes up a little bit as he gets conditioned. He's getting you a point a minute. L10 still 15. He's $8. He's worth a look. Biombo's playing for Memphis. Not as many minutes as you'd like probably, but getting you a point a minute. He's a 12 L10 at $6.50. He's worth a look. Royce O'Neal, any of these Brooklyn guys with all their injuries are probably worth a look, especially if they're already playing 32 minutes. They may be playing 35, 36, 38 minutes if Cam Thomas can't go. He's not exciting, but L10 of 22, if he can get you, if he can get you 35 on a 22 L10, that's worth a look. Jay Crowder's minutes are increasing as Malik Beasley's go down. Crowder's a 16 L10 with not a ton of upside, but he's already averaging you 22, so maybe worth a look. Max Christie's getting over 20 minutes a night recently. He's been terrible. There's no 2 ways about it. His shooting's been awful. If he can ever get his shots to fall on a given night, he's capable of actually scoring some points. And he's only a 5. So is he worth a look? He's a young player. He's 20 years old. This is the kind of cards you want going forward because you can use them for multiple years. He's not going to just up and retire. Let's see. Zaire Williams' minutes going down now that Santi Aldama's back. Dorian Finney-Smith with Brooklyn, another Brooklyn guy who already plays a ton of minutes, probably going to get more. L10 of 23, so a little higher, but he's cheap points. Shake Milton, last guy in the Wolves rotation. We're looking at 15 minutes a night. That's probably about right. he's had terrible luck this year with his shots, so if he can get going, an L10 of 7 is pretty easy to beat. Obi Toppin, Indiana's offense just rolling. I would say his minutes are pretty safe around that 20 mark. He's going to get you 20 a night or so. He's averaging 14, but he'll have his bigger nights when his three-point shot's falling. And then moving on to some guys I like, but aren't necessarily value plays. Just play them if they're in your lineup. Well, first, Anthony Simons is still hurt. He's probably out another 5 weeks. I'm just watching his cost real closely right now. If I can get him under $10 with an L10 of 27, I think he's going to be worth playing once he comes back. They're going to need his offense badly, and he's one of those guys that can just pull out a flamethrower and go nuts every so often. So he's worth a look. Jalen Johnson's just so much improved. I'd be playing him. Reggie Jackson, you have to be playing right now with Murray out. He's coming off his best game and an L10 of 14, so totally worth throwing in there. Kobe White's just getting a lot of minutes. Mitchell Robinson playing really well to start the season, beating his L10s. Russell, Grant, obviously Portland needs his offense. Brogdon got hurt last night now, so they're down to Sharp and Grant, basically, and then Ayton, I guess, filling in the gaps. And then a bunch of guys who are kind of like G League plus, basically, on that Portland team. So we'll see what happens with them, but I would be surprised if Grant ended up scoring a lot of points for them going forward. Dyson Daniels filling in for McCollum. Sounds like McCollum's injury isn't as bad as we originally thought. He really hasn't been all that productive, but there's certainly the possibility for it. Barnes has been amazing. Looks like he's ascending into superstardom here, averaging 51 a night. That's the level that the Donovan Mitchells and the SGAs and those guys of the world are at. So he's definitely, you got to be playing him right now if you have him. Kuzma, bad Washington team, but he's 1.3 points a minute. I would have him in every lineup if I had him. Tyus Jones, I can't believe he's this bad. I think he's going to have his games, and you don't know when they're coming. But his L10 still 20, so I still think he's a good play. Moritz, yes, filling in for Wendell Carter Jr. I think he's got a good chance to bump up his playing time, so his production should go up as well. L10's 15, so he's worth a look. Kuminga hasn't been great, to be perfectly honest. His minutes are pretty safe. Not a lot of upside, though, it doesn't look like, on a team with so many scorers. Quickly, I really like. Michael Porter Jr., obviously, with Jamal Murray out. His production's going to have to go up. Jordan Poole, still an L10 of 20. I mean, he's been pretty bad, but he's going to have his night. Ayton, another Portland guy. I think they're gonna have to ask him to score more. Then you get to like Maxey. He's been really good without Harden in the way. Julius Randle has been pretty bad, but he had a good game last game, so maybe he's coming along. L10 still too low for him at 32. Mitchell's beating his L10 pretty easily. Embiid's beating his L10 pretty easily. Those are guys that, superstar guys that you're not gonna not start. Dennis Schroeder, obviously a different role this year, being the lead guard in Toronto. I'd have him in. Rui just came back, looked great last night. He's going to have those kind of games. Jordan Hawkins for the Pelicans, too expensive, $44, but he's the lead guard with McCollum out in New Orleans. Dwight Powell's boring, oatmeal, 15 average, 11 L10. Good enough to play, but I don't know if I'd go out of my way to get him. Well, anyway, there's some ideas for you. Hopefully that helps.